Welcome back to Awesome Possum Hobbies and Games. I am Chris, and it is my favorite day of the week. Yes, it is my TCG Player Mail Day. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what I got. Let's go. Yes, it's my favorite time of the week. It is my TCG Player Mail order. Of course, this week is a little bit different because I put in here some cards I recently traded for. And, you know, nothing beats from the new Fallout set, the Surge Foil Arcane Signet. I love that card. It's great. So I wanted to share because it is just amazing. You know, it's an artifact. It taps for just 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Fun. So on to the cards that I actually purchased from TCG Player. Just remember, I am not sponsored by TCG Player or anyone else. Just my pocketbook goes through to pay for everything. And yeah, it's I love Magic and Magic loves me. So first card, Blood Artist. This is the one from Devil Masters. This is a black one, colorless creature vampire 0/1. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Next one is also from Devil Masters. It's Dockside Extortionist, and this is the boardless version for 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a 1/2 creature goblin pirate. When Dockside Extortionist enters the battlefield, create a X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Next one is Mind's Dilation. Now this is from Secret Lair for 2 blue, 5 colorless. It's an enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts their first spell each turn, that player exiles the top card of their library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Man, that's expensive, but it's a lot of fun. Next card is Eloise Nephalia Sleuth. 1 blue, 1 black, 3 colorless. It's a 4/4. And it's a legendary creature, human rogue. Whenever another creature you control dies, you get to investigate. And when you sacrifice a token, you get to surveil 1. So it rewards you for having treasure tokens. It rewards you for using your clue tokens. It rewards you for having all kinds of tokens that you're going to sacrifice, whether it be creature tokens to some sack outlet. This card's kind of cool, and I can't wait to throw it in the deck. Next one is Paco, the Arcane Retriever for 1 red, 1 green, 3 colorless. It's a 3/3. Legendary creature, Elemental Hound. Partner with Halden, Avid Arcanist. Has haste, and whenever this card attacks, exile the top card of each player's library and put a fetch counter on it on for each of them. Put a +1/+1 counter on Paco for each non-creature card exiled this way. The blue partner allows you to be able to play those cards that have fetch counters. I actually have the other one, but I did not have that one. Doors of Doran. 1 red, 1 green, 3 colorless, legendary artifact. Whenever you attack, scry 2, and then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it on the battlefield, tapped and attacking until your next turn. It gains trample if you control a dwarf, and hexproof if you control an elf. I don't care about the last part. It's all about scrying and then putting something into play, attacking. This card's great. A little expensive, but it is what it is. The Fugitive Doctor for 1 green, 1 red, 3 generic, 4/4 legendary creature, Time Lord Doctor. When it enters the battlefield, you get to investigate, and when this card attacks, you may sacrifice a clue. When you do, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback of a green, a red, and 2 generic until end of turn. Next card, Strax, Sataran Nurse. For a red, a green, and 3 generic. It's a 5/5 legendary creature, alien cleric with vigilance and trample. And grenades for 2 generic, and tap, sacrifice an artifact, choose a player at random. When you do, Strax fights another target creature that player controls. Glory of Battle. Whenever this card deals damage to a creature, put +1/+1 counter on Strax. Cool little card there. Next one is Cultivation of Studies. This is an interesting card. It caught my eye. I'm going to go ahead and try it out and see if it's any good or see if it's just a little too expensive. For a blue, a red and X generic sorcery, exile top cards of your library. For each land card exiled this way, create a treasure token. For each blue card exiled this way, draw a card. For each red card exiled this way, this card deals 1 damage to each opponent. So each land card, you get some mana. For each blue card, you get to draw some cards. And each red card, you're going to do some damage to each opponent. Lots going on there. Of course, if you're able to scry and stack the top of your deck and put some multicolored cards on top of it, all the better. On the next card, Melek, Reforged Researcher. For a blue, red, and 3 generic. It's a legendary creature weird detective. It's a star. Its power and toughness are equal to twice the number of instants and sorcery cards in your graveyard. The first instant or sorcery you cast each turn costs 3 generic less to cast. So the card's great, especially for only 5. Can't wait to play it. Zara, Renegade Recruiter. For a blue, a red, and 3 generic. It's a 4/3 legendary creature human pirate with flying. Whenever this card attacks, look at the defending player's hand. You may put a creature card from it onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. It's pretty cool. You get to look at your opponent's hand. On top of that, you're able to sometimes put something amazing into play and smash them upside the head, force them either to block, chump block, or sometimes you're able to do an amazing amount of damage or have those enter into the battle effects. This card's pretty cool. I can't wait to try it out. Next one is the Master, Gallifrey's End. For a black, a red, and 2 generic. It's a 4/3 legendary creature, Time Lord Rogue. Make them pay. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, choose an opponent with the most life among your opponents. That player faces a villainous choice. They lose 4 life, or you create a token that's a copy of that card. Man, that's great. Non-token artifacts. It's great, especially if it's a non-token artifact creature, especially if it's a biggie or someone has mirrored. Can't wait to try them out. It's a great great black-red card. Next one is Greven, Predator's Captain. For a black, a red, and 3 generic. It's a 5/5 legendary creature, human warrior with menace. This card gets +X/+0, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. So if you're able to go through and pay some life for added costs, he's going to get bigger. And whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw cards equal to that creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. Those ball lightnings, I want to draw 6 cards, I want to lose a life. It sounds like a great use of 3 red mana. Next one's from the latest set. This is from the bonus sheet on Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It's a Vanishing Verse. It's an instant for a black and white. Exile target mono-colored permanent. Next one's Thoughtseize for a black. This is a great reprint. Right now they're going for about between $7 and $8 on TCG Player, which is a fantastic deal compared to the rest of them. They're going for $10 plus. If you play Modern, get a playset now, especially since you're able to get a playset for only around $28, $30. Buy it now while you can, otherwise they're going to go up in value. They always do. Sorcery, target player reveals their card from, reveals their hand. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and you lose 2 life. Next one's Rush of Dread. For 2 black, 1 generic. It's a sorcery with spray. For 1 generic. Target player sacrifices half the creatures they control, rounded up. For +2 generic, target opponent discards half of their cards in their hand, rounded up. +2, target opponent loses half their life, rounded up. I can't wait to put this in my target deck because it is just bonkers. Yeah, I'm going to make you lose half your creatures, and I want to steal them. Or I'm going to make you lose half the cards in your hand, and I want to steal them. Overall, or you can do both of those things, and target will kick it in and make your field invincible. Next one is Vadmir, the New Blood for a black, a generic, and it's a 2/2 legendary creature, vampire rogue. Whenever you commit a crime, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. This triggers only once per turn. As long as it has 4 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has menace and lifelink. Fortune, Loyal Steed. This is another card from OTJ. For white, 2 generic, it's a 2/4 legendary creature, beast mount. When this card enters the battlefield, you get to scry 2. So already you're getting some benefit even before your opponent has a chance to kill it. Whenever this card attacks while saddled at the end of combat, exile it and up to 1 creature that saddled it this turn, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. So if you have enter the battlefield effects like this one where it's scry 2, you want to saddle it, especially for only 1. That's great. I can't wait to put that in my Mother Machines deck for some added fun and excitement to be able to double those triggers. Next one is Kambal, Profiteering Mayor for a white, a black, and 1 generic, 2/4 legendary creature, human advisor. Whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them create a tapped token that's a copy of it. This ability only triggers once per turn, but when it does, you get lots of tokens. And whenever 1 or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. This goes perfect in an Aristocrats type deck, or it could also be a great sideboard card if your opponent's playing a massive amounts of things that create tokens. So I can't wait to play that in a few different formats. Hostile Investigator for a black 3 generic. It's a 4/3 creature, ogre, rogue, detective. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards a card, and then so this card's going to be pretty good in standard. Standard, be able to have a body, be able to force your opponent to lose a card, and then whenever 1 or more players discard 1 or more cards, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn, but immediately when it comes into play, you're forcing your opponent to discard a card. You're creating a clue token. So if they are able to destroy this card, you're at least getting a ton of value. You're getting a clue token, which will trigger a lot of different things. On top of that, you're forcing your opponent to discard. So you're already up more than 1 for 1. And then on top of it, they kill it. That's a 2 for 1. So this card really feels good to be in play. And then on top of that, getting that clue token, whew, that card just screams value. Next one is Bristlebud Farmer for 2 green, 2 generic. It's a 5/5 for only 4. Creature, plant, druid with trample. And then when it enters the battlefield, you get to create 2 food tokens. So even if you cheat in play, it doesn't matter if it's cast or if it's cheated in play, you get those 2 food tokens. And then whenever this card attacks, you may sacrifice a food. If you do, you get to mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them in your hand. So it allows you to do all kinds of things. I can't wait to try a deck that has 4 of them. Here's 2 full versions that I am going to make in standard because it has a lot of stuff going on there, especially if you're able to get it in play for cheap, or if you're able to cheat it in play, or if you're actually paying full cost for 5/5. It's great. Next one is a Planeswalker, Jace Awaken for 2 blue. It's a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. It's a Jace, and then you can't cast a spell during your first, second, or third turns of the game. So that means that the first part of it, or second part of it, can't activate until your 4th turn, which is fine. Overall, I think this won't break any environments, but at the same time, I think it's going to do quite a bit. So +1, you get to draw a card, and then discard a card. That's not great. That doesn't feel great, but for +1, you may exile a non-land card with mana value of 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. That opens up quite a few doors because you're able to play, starting your 4th turn after you play it, you're able to start just throwing extra cards out there that you may have gotten card advantage for, or it allows you to play more than what the mana you have available, which is great. So if you have 3 mana in play, you're able to play 2 3 drops at the same time. That feels really good. And then -6 until end of turn. Whenever you cast a spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. This in a Storm deck will be fantastic. I can't wait to go through and exile a bunch of things to plot it, and then really storm off. Go through it and have like 4 or 5 plotted spells go off, and then start playing my storm cards, because that feels like degeneracy that I'm happy to be part of. Next card is World Walker Helm. For a blue, 2 generic, it's an artifact. If you would create 1 or more artifact tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional map token. That doesn't necessarily feel good, but it's the next part that is really good. For a blue and a generic, tap, create a token that's a copy of target artifact token you control. So if you're playing in an artifact token deck, such as Brea, this can get kind of bonkers. And I'm also playing a copy of the next card, which I had to get, Simulacrum Synthesizer. For a blue and 2 generic, it's an artifact. Enters the battlefield to get the Scry 2. Yeah, that already feels alright. But what makes it even better is whenever another artifact with mana value of 3 or greater enters the battlefield, under your control, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Wow. Can't wait to put both these in my Brea deck. It's going to go so much smoother. At least it feels like it will. Well, we can't wait and see to exactly how it's going to go, but I'm very interested to see how it will. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week, and of course, to remember to keep it rolling.
And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to like the video and subscribe if you'd like to stay updated. Have a great day, and keep them rolling.